speaking of title fights, Brian, there's a little video in the notes of Cory Sandhagen. Cory Sandhagen, obviously Sean O'Malley. He's talking about fighting Merab Dvalishvili and getting a rematch. Aljamain Sterling came out recently and said that would be a hard sell. You know, he would do nothing different. And Cory Sandhagen came out and he had this to say.
Hey, let's be real. O'Malley has no business fighting Merab for an immediate rematch. He got beat up in the first fight. He's going to get beat up in the second fight. No one wants to see that fight. I'm not booked yet. I want to fight. I am so damn bored. I'll even give this fool as much time as he wants, the way that Aljamain gave him as much time as he wants. Just UFC. Make the fight that the fans want to see, which is me and O'Malley. Make it happen soon. I'm so fucking bored. Hey.
Hey, fair play. I like the side of Cory Sandhagen.
Yeah. Go and I think I've said that I'd love to see that fight before. That fight would be extremely exciting. And Cory's just sitting around waiting. Make that happen. And I agree with Cory that I don't think that fight makes sense for him to get a rematch with Merab. I think he needs to fight somebody else and prove himself again. And that fight is fun. It's another tall, rangy striker who brings the action every time he's in there. Make it happen. It makes sense. Sean needs to fight somebody, man. You can't just, these guys, they get to the peak, they get to the belt, and they sit around and it's like they just want to get right back there. And it's like, it just doesn't work like that, especially in a division. When you're in a division that's filled with studs and people that can be the next in line, it's hard to get right back in there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Sean Strickland tried to do. Remember when he fought Dricus and lost to him the first time? And of course, he ended up fighting Paulo Costa. Listen, for Merab Dvalishvili, another rematch with Sean O'Malley would be great for him because he'd make money because Sean O'Malley is a draw. But that is a logical matchup. If Cory Sandhagen isn't booked, there it is. I mean, Sean O'Malley's still number one. Cory Sandhagen's number 4. Merab's the champ. There's your number 1 contender matchup all day long. May the best man win, and that's Merab's next fight. That makes all the sense in the world.
It makes all the sense because right now there is no clear cut, right? Merab has kind of beaten everybody. Umar was okay, this guy, this is the guy. And he got through him. And now it's like, well, then who's really next? He hasn't fought Cory, right? So if Cory goes and beats Sean, then it's like, okay, now we got fresh blood. It makes sense. He becomes the number 1 contender. I agree 100%. Make that fight happen.
So I'm off to Saudi shortly. After that, I fly down to Sydney. Volkanovski will not be fighting in Sydney at UFC 312. Brian, there's a little video in there of Volkanovski saying, though, that he's coming back and he's training for a fight in April. And all signs are pointing to potentially a rematch with Ilia Topuria.
Future, when are you hoping to get back into the octagon?
Yeah, so like I said, nothing's completely locked in.
He really doesn't. He knows. I can see that in his eyes.
Well, the thing is, yeah, like, mate, like, because I was talking there, be ready for, March, April. So, like, when they're saying that, they don't have an exact date. But, I mean, I'd say in a couple of months, a few months. So, I think the April date does look good, but, you never know.
Paul?
Yeah, it sounds like he knows something that he can't quite say yet because it's not officially signed. But, I mean, that was what we were waiting to see, right? I mean, that's what everybody was saying, that he deserved to get another shot at Ilia. And where is that April? Where would that April one be? Is that Miami? Is that where they're talking about?
Miami, I believe.
Come on, man. That especially for Ilia, that seems to just make sense to have those two fight there. That would sell that thing. So that's a pay-per-view in Miami then in April?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome.
I think so.
That would be awesome.
And
it's probably tough getting Ilia. It's probably tough getting Ilia because he's trying to get all these super fights, but that's probably the thing that's slowing this down a little bit is getting Ilia to agree to take that fight. But he's got it. Come on.
Well, Volkanovski always said, because I spoke to him a couple of times, did a couple of interviews and whatnot, and he said it publicly many times. His next fight is for the belt.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. I'm not taking on anybody else. So, I mean, so make of that what you will. It sounds like him versus Ilia is going to go down. And I've said in the past that I don't know if that's the best move. Maybe you need to come back and get another one before you fight Ilia. But then in hindsight, the man's not getting any younger. He was 35 last Feb. That means, if my math is correct, he's 36 now.
Yeah.
So don't waste another fight. He's been out for a year, you know, in terms of concussion protocols and all the rest of it. He's had a year out. He hasn't taken any damage. Let's see once and for all, can he get him done? Can he beat him, you know, without just getting knocked out against Islam Makhachev, you know? And I wish him nothing but the best of luck.
Yeah, absolutely. And Volk's got such a bright future even after he's done. He's such an awesome guy. He's so entertaining. Have you ever watched any of the Cooking with Volk and all that kind of stuff? And when he's dressing up as the old man and doing all that, we got to get this guy on TV more. That's something I would love to see for Volk too, is doing some sort of broadcasting, having his own show. He's so awesome to watch. He's so hilarious. And the man can cook too. He should have his own damn cooking show. I swear to God, I'm sure he could get something set up like that in Australia. He could probably be making a lot of money being on TV. I'm sure he's a megastar, obviously, down there. And just the way he handles the camera and hangs out and just is so good at being himself and genuine. But I agree. He's not getting younger. He doesn't want to just climb his way back up. He's got one more shot at it. And then I don't know where he goes from there. I don't know how much more Volk should fight if he loses another shot at the title. But if he goes and wins, then it's like, okay, you know, you get a couple more years of trying to defend the belt and sticking around, making a ton of money. I think that's the move. I think that's exactly what he should do. And that's what he deserves. He was a dominant champion for so long and people love him. So I hope that's the case. And I hope it works out. Knock on wood. Cause I would absolutely love to see that fight. I love both guys. I love Ilia Topuria too, but Ilia's got to defend that belt. I think the super fights will come in the future if you can go and defend the featherweight belt at least once more.
Off the top of my head, I don't know how many times Volk defended the belt, but it was a good few times, and he had the super fights against Islam as well, 2 of those. So he's made millions and millions and millions of dollars. Okay, so he can retire anytime he wants, but that fighter in him wants to reclaim the belt. I respect that. I say if he loses, then retire. And as you mentioned, there's going to be a ton of opportunities for him. He's so media savvy. And you know what I like about Volk? He's so authentic. He's just, and this is Australian people in general. The Aussies are some of the best people on planet Earth. They're so laid back. They're so down to earth. They're just chill. They're funny. They've got a great sense of humor. They love a good beer. They love some barbecue. They just love a nice, simple life. And Volk is like, he just embodies all of that. You know, when you hang out with him, I was with him in Manchester, just having a couple of, I walked into a pub with my old mate Daz. We walked into a pub. There's Volk, you know, and a couple of his mates, just having a beer, hanging out with the locals. Hi, mate, how you doing? So we had a couple, you know, he's the absolute man. All right, this episode is sponsored by Shopify, and Shopify are here to make it extremely easy for you if you're thinking about starting a business. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to take things to the next level, you want to get online, you want to have an e-commerce site, you want to sell to the worldwide audience, get your store up and running easily with thousands of customizable templates, no coding or design skills required. All you need to do is drag and drop. Their powerful social media tools let you connect all your channels and create shoppable posts and help you sell everywhere where people scroll. Shopify makes it easy to manage your growing business. They help with the details like shipping, taxes, and payments from one single dashboard, allowing you to focus on the important stuff, growing your business. Sign up right now to Shopify for $1 per month, a trial period at shopify.com/believe, all lowercase. Shopify.com/believe to start selling today with Shopify. Shopify.com/believe.